Today I'll connect between two seemingly different events that took place recently. Different, but both are connected to CERN, because everything is about CERN nowadays, and there's a simple reason for that. And that reason is that this world is being invaded by demonic entities with the help of the so-called particle accelerator. The CERN organization communicated with Tyr in movies to tell us that it succeeded in its mission, but before an invasion is officially declared, those who collaborate with the invaders want to have as many of us revoking our divine protection. So the most important thing you can do now to keep your defense is to be aware of the traps that are laid for you. And this video will teach you how to do that. Did everyone hear that CERN activated its accelerator during the eclipse on the 8th of April? And that their logo is 666 combined with an eclipse? Let's look into that. In the few months that preceded the eclipse, we were flooded with WWE related news. The accusations against Vince McMahon for sexual misconduct, John Cena Oscars performance, all that while the weekend before the eclipse was this year's WrestleMania, number 40 since this annual event started as the company's biggest event of the year. Why was the promotion so aggressive this year? I didn't watch wrestling for 2 decades and I still knew that Cody Rhodes was facing Roman Reigns for the main event. Cody Rhodes is this guy who comes from a family of wrestlers and he was not really successful in the WWE, which is a bit debatable because it's not a real competition and there's a lot of politics involved. But anyway, he stopped working for them and he made his own wrestling organization that was really successful. Then this organization turned their back on him and he came back to the WWE as the biggest star. So it's hard not to like the guy and you can understand why he gets so much support. So we know that music shows are satanic rituals and that music festivals are pagan ceremonies. Maybe a sport event will have the same elements as them. Was it a coincidence that WrestleMania took place in Philadelphia one day before the eclipse goes over the city? Or does CERN activation requires rituals before it opens portals again? The eclipse path covered Philadelphia less than 24 hours after WrestleMania 40. It was a 2-day event and there were more than 120,000 tickets sold. I'll show you in a minute how blatant the rituals were in this event, and individual sports is worse than team sports in terms of idol worship. So just imagine what it costs you to be part of it. The stadium in Philadelphia where the wrestling event took place got 88.5% eclipse. The CERN logo shows 75% eclipse. Now I get the WWE is a show, but the demonic symbolism was just insane. First of all, it advertised a documentary about a wrestler who died suddenly and called it Becoming Immortal. Then there was The Rock entering the ring with a flaming bull. Then there was the champions and the Babylonian gods Baal and Moloch. And Seth Rollins was leading this band of men in costumes like the Pied Piper, and the crowd was singing along.
Oh, it's King Tut. Yep, okay, hey. The clock on him? There we go, the mummers. Hi, you're doing great. None of them are playing an instrument. I'm an honorary mummer.
There's really no denying the symbolism here. There was this athlete wearing wings and carried by slaves wearing Anubis mask. Anubis is the Egyptian god of the underworld. And then there was the star of the evening, Cody Rhodes, wearing this on the night he is crowned champion. So again, one day after this event, the CERN was activated and the second wave of invasion began. On the 24th of April, the skies of Greece were covered in red. And this looks exactly what happened in New York a few years ago. But then it was forest fires from Canada, and now it's a sandstorm from the Sahara. I really wonder how these two disasters caused the same effect. The latest social media trend is of women saying they prefer to be around bears rather than men for safety reasons. Will it surprise you to learn that this is another pagan ritual? The deer god is Cernunnos, and the bear worship ritual is in honor of Artio, the Celtic bear god. So let's move on to check what new forms of degeneracy the Eurovision introduced the world to this year. Everyone talk about Ireland, who stole the show with their voodoo possession on stage, but I challenge you to find a song that didn't have satanic elements in it. I actually know someone who said he watched the Eurovision with his kid, and when the Irish performance went on stage he covered his kid's eyes. But I guess he was okay with the Finnish guy with the Windows 95 shirt mimicking the act of masturbation on stage? Was that sex education suitable for minors? And there were more examples. There was the singer from San Marino with the pink hair, I think it's a woman, who danced with skeletons. Her band members dressed as demons, and there's fire and clocks in the background. Here are some more lovely competitors.
Feel sick? I died! Oh!
And some were more subtle, like Poland singing about building the tower, probably talking about the Tower of Babylon. The Albanian singer is a titan in disguise, probably talking about demonic possession, but also that's my personal favorite from the songs that I checked. But imagine being in the crowd and cheering for that. How many demons do you think will be fed by this energy? Actually, how about that? How about I'll put the Albanian song on, and if I get a copyright claim, the singer can monetize the 150 views I'll get for this video. I guess she needs the money more than I do anyway. You hear that, Google? I don't need your money. And you wish you had a tech expert like myself in your team. But I will not join you because I know about your work-life balance. And I'm all about the balance. You know what I mean?
I won't give up, fight till the end. Every tear's gonna ricochet. I rise. I'm a titan in disguise. I won't give up, fight till the end. Every tear's gonna ricochet. I rise. I'm a titan in disguise.
Maybe if you're an American and you're not familiar with the Eurovision, you would get the impression that this year was extremely political. But this competition was always about politics. Only this time the focus was on Israel. There were the calls to boycott Israel before the competition, and all the gender liquid competitors who wanted more media traffic on TikTok said, look at Israel, look at Israel. Okay, so let's see the Israeli performance. Israel showed up with Shiva/CERN portal symbolism, and that's the first time that CERN is mentioned in relation to Israel from what I can tell. So here's my attempt to decipher the message here, even though it's not a lot to go on. From the moment this performance took place, we have 42 months before Armilus invades Israel. If you are new to my materials, there's a pattern of 42 months between we get a warning until something really bad happens. And if you didn't know, Armilus is considered the Jewish Antichrist. But my research concluded that Armilus and the Antichrist are two completely different people who will rule over Israel in different time periods. You can see what I mean in the timeline I made. The first Jewish Messiah will rule over Israel before Armilus invades it. Calculating the exact times of events is always the most difficult part of making predictions, so take that into account. But according to this theory, the invasion will take place in November 2027. Now back to the Eurovision, like you already guessed, the song competition doesn't measure quality of songs. The satanic ceremony is about signaling about future events, and we were dealing with CERN. So that's how you end up with Switzerland as winners with their song about a creature released from chains and returning from hell. Now look at these rituals and think really carefully if you want to take active participation in them by giving your vote. If you are a Jew or a Christian and you expect God's protection in the end times, why would you deserve it if you didn't fulfill your part of the deal? If you celebrated and worshipped false idols in these events, humanity used to worship actual giants, and now popular culture replaces them with metaphorical giants. And if you made your family bow before these false idols, you're going to put them at risk, because the deep ones and the other species that plan to feed on you will attempt to lower your protection to the minimum before making their first move. Next time you have the chance to participate in an event like the ones I mentioned, think twice before you are tempted to follow it.